Hi, Cancer. I hope you guys are doing really, really well. My name is Brian. I am your queer psychic bestie, and I have a reading for you guys today. This is going to be a mid month check in for the month of August for the sign of Cancer. So, if you have Cancer anywhere in your chart, maybe you vibe with Cancers, maybe you're a cross watcher, who really knows? This reading may resonate for you. As always, we're going to take what resonates and we're going to leave what does not. This is a reading on the internet. All right. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do that through email or form submission on my website. Okay. Cancer, we're going to be doing, there is not a, I don't do a set spread for the mid month. I do 6 cards across and then we clarify 2 at a time. And we just see where your guides want me to go with this. What do they want you to know? All those kinds of things. So I leave it a little bit more open and we're just going to see where the road takes us. All right, let's dive in. Let's get into it. Bottom of the deck is your challenge, represents what you're not seeing, what you're not looking at. We've got the 5 of Pentacles, the 2 of Wands, and then the 9 of Cups. Interesting. I almost said 9 of Coins. Interesting. Um, I feel like for a lot of you, this mid-month check-in is almost like a check-in that's needed within yourself of, I'm going to be a little brutal here, Cancer. It feels like some of you have like fallen out of love with something this month. It feels like with the 9 of Cups, the 2 of Wands, and the 5 of Pentacles, at one point or another, the Page of Cups is back there too. The Lover's choice card. This could be a relationship for some of you. It feels like at one point or another, you had a lot of love to give in regards to a certain topic, whether this is a person, a career, whatever it is for you. You know, for everyone, it's going to be different. And it feels like I'm hearing devotion. It feels like you were pretty devoted to something at one point or another here. And now it feels like as this mid-month check-in is kind of looming, is the word I'm hearing, you're now reassessing. I feel like this is very much deeper in thought than I think the way I'm hearing it, the way my guides are giving this to me is like deeper in thought than you've gone in a hot minute. I feel like as a water sign, Cancer, you do normally get into those very nitty gritty deep emotions, but for some reason, some of you guys have been avoiding it this month. I feel like that's very uncharacteristic for Cancer. You know, it's for a water sign. I'm a Pisces sun and I'm a Scorpio moon. You know, so for water signs, it tends to be very heavy on emotion. Like, let's get in. I want to dive in. I want to talk about it. And Cancer, it feels like you guys have been avoiding this a little bit. So let's try to dig in and see why. You start with the Hierophant and the 4 of Swords. Now I see why right away. For a lot of you, you're avoiding this because it does involve a commitment. Hierophant is commitment. It could be marriage for some of you as well, higher learning, but it does feel like right off the bat, like I said in the beginning, devotion, commitment. There was something you were committed to here. Maybe it was a person, maybe it was a marriage. And I feel like a lot of you guys don't really want to face the fact that you're not feeling great about it anymore. You know, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're kind of looking at the way my guides are giving this to me is really funny. You keep opening the fridge and expecting to see something new. And I think that's part of the problem here. Instead of accepting that there's no food in the fridge, maybe you have to go food shopping, you're just kind of like, well, something will appear. Something's going to change. Something's going to happen here. And I feel like, Cancer, that's why you're kind of putting off this talk with yourself of like, oh, maybe I need to change. Maybe I need to do something different here. You know, I feel like for a lot of you, yeah, Wheel of Fortune with the 6 of Wands. Can I get one more, please? You're holding out. Why is the holding out for a hero playing for me right now? Maybe you are holding out for a hero. Maybe you think this person is going to change. You know, Wheel of Fortune, 6 of Wands, and the 4 of Pentacles. I feel like, Cancer, I want to remind you, it is an act of self-love to see something for what it is and not what you want it to be. Okay? It feels like for a lot of you, the place you're really being called to look at right now, whatever it may be, whether, like I said, romance, maybe not for some of you, it's a place of, and oh, I'm hearing touchy subject. Do you deserve it? And I mean that in a place of not, do you deserve love? Of course you deserve love, but do you deserve a relationship that you're not in love with? Do you deserve to be unhappy, unfulfilled. That's what I mean when I say, do I deserve it? I feel like a lot of you are in this place of, it's like monotony, but it's almost like a, oh, this is harsh, checklist. Like, I feel like some of you are either, if this is a partner, it's like you're looking at them almost like a checklist. Okay, are they fed? Did they go out? Like a dog almost, And I feel like some of you are recognizing here with the Page of Cups in the challenge, again, the love you had for it is just simply not there anymore. You have the Moon as well. I think a lot of you guys are also procrastinating facing this, because I think it's also going to highlight for you, the way I'm hearing this is pretty, again, blunt, just how broken it was from the get-go. This is kind of like, you got, the way my guides are giving this to me is like a broken down bike, and you put air in the tires, and now, you were like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then like a few weeks have passed, maybe a month has passed, and now you're looking at it again because the tires are low, and you're like, oh, actually, this looks pretty bad. That's where I feel like you guys are almost at right now in the month. You're like, okay, can I get 2 more, please? Yeah. That's rough. Oh, all right. This is a rough one, Cancer. Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, but they're both in reverse. That's tough, babe. That's like very, very out of love. Very out of love. There's no love. There's no passion here. Page of Pentacles. For those of you that this is work, it's like you're just doing it for a paycheck. For some of you, I'm hearing creative, like you could be a creative, and it shows. I don't want to be mean here, but it shows. As someone who was a creative, I was a hairdresser for a really long time. When you lose passion for what you're doing, it shows in the work that you're doing, okay? And I feel like for some of you guys here, that this is career, you are in a creative field, and the lack of passion is really shining through for you. You're like, wow, I don't love this. I don't want to keep doing this. And I feel like you kind of owe it to yourself to address this, right? What kind of life is it if I live a life devoted to a career that I don't love? I feel like that's where you guys really are right now. Julie? The name Julie just came through. Or Julia. I heard Julia. I heard both of them, so I'll give you both of them. Yeah. Babes, you have a big decision to make here with the Emperor and the Two of Swords. The Emperor is the divine masculine, but also, that is stepping into your power. That's stepping into a seat of, I heard the word discipline. Maybe being a little bit more disciplined in our life. Maybe being a little bit more business savvy, business focused. The Emperor can also be entrepreneurial energy. Sorry, I'm not picking my nose. I just think okay, there we go. My nose ring is crooked. And with that Two of Swords, I also feel like, why are my guides being so dramatic about this? With great power comes great responsibility. I mean, in a sense, yes, what the greatest power we have is over ourselves and our lives. And I feel like that's kind of like what's at stake here for a lot of you. With the Devil at the bottom of the deck, you're kind of playing with your future here, Cancer. And I feel like a lot of you guys don't really, you're not enthused about it. You're not happy about it. And even just the thought of like doing the work to tether yourself from this is exhausting to begin with. But it feels like it's going to be worth it. You've got the Three of Pentacles here and the Page of Wands. This is a moment to really spread your wings is what I'm hearing. And I do feel like this is a really good moment where you have the opportunity to start over, to start fresh. And it feels like this should be something that excites you and not something that you're like in the doldrums about. My guides want me to remind you that this is your life. You are a co-creator of your own destiny, babe. And in August, by the way, I hope I said that at the beginning. This is for August. Whoo, if I didn't, please forgive me. In this mid-August, it feels like you're really going to be paying attention to that of like, okay, wait, I have choice here. I have a decision to make. I have, like the way my guides are giving it to me is like the reins on like a reindeer. Like I have the reins here. I have an executive decision to make. Ooh, that was fast. That's so funny. I literally heard your friends, and then the Three of Cups came out, which is like friends and connections. Some of your friends maybe maybe being a little mean about it right now, but I feel like they are offering a little bit of counsel here, or like some people have pointed this out to you. Cancer, try not to be so defensive this month, I'm also hearing. Okay, someone pointing at, if I'm your friend, let's say we're friends now, Cancer. Okay, let's say I'm a hairdresser and you notice I stopped caring. And so the hair I'm doing is starting to suffer and you're seeing it. As my friend, you have the ability to pull me aside and be like, hey, Brian, like, I noticed that like some of these things that you're doing are not to like your normal standards. Is everything okay? Okay, that's very different from you pulling me aside and being like, hey, Brian, that haircut you did was garbage. Do you see what I mean? Some of you may have some friends that are the latter. You know, they're kind of being a little mean about it right now. Like, hey, Queen of Swords in the reverse is a Queen of Swords out of her power. So when the Queen of Swords is out of her power, she's a bit antagonistic, she's a bit brutal, and she can be quite blunt and hurtful. You know, and it feels like with that Three of Cups and the Fool here, some of you guys have a decision to make, but it shouldn't be based around whether or not people are being mean to you about it. It should be based around what you want to do. And if your heart, I can't stress this enough, Cancer, I don't know why it keeps coming through. If your heart isn't in it, it's time to get out. Okay? I feel that so strong. Four of Cups, bottom of the deck. Babe, it is okay to admit that you've stopped caring. I'm going to say that again. It is okay to admit to yourself that you have stopped caring about something. It just means you have to find what you actually do care about. Okay, I'll tell you another story. I used to be a barista for many years, and I had a very awful job that I worked for many years. And literally one of my last shifts ever, after I put my 2 weeks in, one of my coworkers came up to me and was like, hey, like, all my retail girlies are going to understand this. They were like, you know, hey, your clothes last night was really bad. And I was like, oh, sorry. I was like, to be frank with you, I don't care. And they were like, yeah, it shows. Do you see what I mean? I think of this story for myself all of the time, because if I ever get to a point in anything that I'm doing right now where I'm like, wow, I really don't fucking care about this. Red flag. Red flag. Lights are blurring, flags are flying up, and I'm checking in with myself. Cancer, that's what this mid-month is about for you guys. It feels like you are needing to have a little check-in with yourself right now and acknowledge that, hey, I've stopped caring. Literally, the sun, you know, it is okay. The sun and the Hierophant, it is okay for our, what's the word I'm looking for? Commitments to shift. It is okay for our stance on something to shift. It is okay if our responsibilities shift. All these things you are allowed to change, Cancer. Okay, but I feel like with the, again, Knight of Pentacles, bottom of the deck, it's still there for you. For a lot of you, this is work. You know, you have to admit to yourself. Now, please don't go to your boss and be like, hey, I don't fucking care about this job anymore. No. But you have to admit within yourself whether or not you are still here for the long run or whether or not you're ready to go. Spoiler warning, babe, you're ready to go. Okay, it feels like with the Hierophant and the Sun here, your commitments need to shift. Where your happiness lies has also shifted. And so as a result, you have to pivot appropriately with that, okay? You guys are putting this off, and I feel like the reason you're putting off is because you think it's going to be tumultuous. You think it's going to be this big, bad blowout, and that's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this is almost like a very stable sort of shift of power here, is what I want to say. You know, I don't see this being terrible. Yeah, 8 of Cups, walking away. I just see you kind of being like, making sort of an exit here. 7 of Cups, and checking your other options, babe. I want to remind you that a lot of your fear, I mean, all of our fear is in our head, right? Fear stands for false evidence appearing real. A lot of you guys are just in this place of you're entertaining the worst case scenarios, and that's not reality, okay? A worst case scenario is a one-off. They don't happen all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's like you put off you've probably had this, Cancer, where you've put off a task for like a month, and then you do it, and it takes you 5 minutes, and you're like, wow, why didn't I do that sooner? That's kind of where you are, Cancer, in this mid-month. I feel like you guys are really looking at everything and being like, okay, I've been putting this off for so long, but why? What did I gain from this? Like, or what's so daunting about this task? For a lot of you, it's the thought of this is going to be a blowout. It's going to be a fight. There's going to be a battle. There's going to be, like, a lot of you are catastrophizing. And you have to recognize that this is not the way that it's going to go, okay? Even your last two cards here is Judgment in reverse and the Star. Judgment in the reverse is like, it's not returning, babe. You're letting it go. And the Star is healing, you know? Cancer, I feel like some of you could work in the public eye, because I do feel like you're not going to quit working in the public eye, but I do get the sense that wherever you are currently, you are not going to return to. This is going to be something you leave behind and then, like, fully leave it in the dirt. Yeah, Six of Pentacles, but it's crossed. Interesting. I think also a lot of you guys are not getting what you want out of it. Yeah, Six of Pentacles crossed with the Eight of Wands. A cross is a conflict. So if it comes out crossed, it's a conflict. Six of Pentacles as a conflict is, I'm not getting equal give and take here. And with that Eight of Wands, it really does feel like a lot of you guys, yeah, Five of Cups, like, y'all need to start seeing this for what it is. And what it is not giving. Okay, I'm going to be, not to sound like so diva on main here, but, like, it's not giving what you think it's giving. Okay, I think some of you guys have kind of deluded yourself into thinking this is, like, the best thing since sliced bread for whatever reason. Maybe there's good money attached to it. I don't know. But a lot of you need to recognize with the Five of Cups here, this is not actually what you thought it was. You know, I feel like with the Six of Pentacles in the reverse and the Eight of Wands, you're seeing finally for the first time that if this is a job, like, the money isn't what you thought it was going to be, or, like, you weren't getting paid appropriately. You know, there is a sort of lack here of what you're putting in versus what you're getting. And I feel like you guys are really seeing that. I mean, literally Five of Pentacles in the challenge. You're ready to go. You really are. This mid-month is so... August is truly about an exit for you, Cancer. This is really just like, I need to let go of it. It's not providing for me anymore. My attention has shifted. My passion has shifted. And I gotta follow that. A lot of you guys are realizing that following your passion brings money. You know, yeah, Magician and the King of Swords here. Following your passion will bring the people. It will bring the clients. It will bring the money. It will bring everything. And it will bring a plan as well. King of Swords is like strategize. I'm just going to say strategizing. Okay. It's employing cerebral. It's the mind. It's, you know, having an itinerary, being organized, all of these things. And with the Magician as well, it's manifesting what you want. It's calling in what you're looking for. I feel like some of you guys are so caught up in your own perception of your feelings that you're not actually feeling them. Okay? You're just sort of seeing them and intellectualizing them. You need to feel through them. Acknowledge that this is going on. Acknowledge that you're really going through it, and then feel it, and then follow the feeling, okay? The way my guides are giving this to me is like, how can you ever expect to go forward if you refuse to look? You know, I feel like some of you guys are sort of, again, trapped in this past place right now. I feel like your guides are trying to get you to wake up. You know, it's like waking up from a bad dream almost. One more. Yeah, death. It's time to change, babe. Your perception has to shift. Your idea has to shift here so that you can actually find the path that's meant for you and walk it and move forward. Okay? I feel like... just feel like a lot of you guys feel lost. You're not lost, babe. I promise you that. I feel like you think you're lost, but you're not. You're exactly where you need to be. Okay? You're doing exactly what you need to do. Follow your truth here. Follow the feeling. Follow the passion. King of Wands is passion and drive. And it will take you where you need to go, Cancer, okay? But the mid-month here is truly, in order to follow the path forward, you have to get rid of the path you just took, okay? You can't sit in somewhere where you don't belong anymore, that's not helping you. I almost just dropped all my cards. And then expect to move forward, right? You have to get rid of that oldness, oldness, that's not a word either. You have to get rid of the old path, the old thing that's holding you back here, okay? All right, let's get you guys an Oracle card. This is the Angelarium. It is my favorite Oracle deck ever. I use it literally constantly. If you've seen any video on this channel, I always end with an Oracle card from this deck. Not always, but like always lately. Okay. Let's see. What's the mid-month for mid-month August for Cancer? What's their advice? What do they need to hear? What's the advice, please? That was really fast. Cool. Interesting. Your card is the Builder, Soufflatus. So this deck is split up to the angels, their persona before they fell, as well as after. And this is an after the fall, which I think is interesting. After the fall from grace. It's also number 85 for those of us into numerology. Okay. What we create can define us more than any other choice. You may have a chance to create something new, something that will leave your mark upon the landscape. Allow yourself to be bold enough to let inspiration guide your hand. The results will affect people beyond your reach. Okay, Cancer, it's really, I mean, this is a moment to build, like the card says. This is a moment to start fresh. This is a moment to clean the slate. All of these things are really positive. You just have to let go of where you've come from in order to go to where you need to go, okay? Cancer, that is your mid-month. I will leave that there for you. I feel like your guides were very direct today and very to the point with you, a little bit blunt. As always, if this reading resonates with you or my reading style resonates with you, do consider liking and subscribing. We are on the road to 200 subscribers, which is great. If you would like to interact with me on a live basis, I go live 3 days a week on Twitch. You can find me Wednesday and Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST, as well as Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. EST. There's also a Discord server, community that you can join if you would like. It is a fabulous, uplifting, supportive community. It's just all around great. So if you are interested in that, drop by on a stream day and grab the link. I believe that's it. That's all I have to say today, Cancer. So I will leave you guys with this. I hope to see you on Twitch. And if not, it's okay. I'll catch you in the next video. All right? Bye.